The Fall of the House of Usher is still a show created by Mike Flanagan that's on Netflix and is available with audio description. This is season 1, episode 3. I've been recapping this, trying to recap it at a quicker pace. I don't know that I'll get all 8 episodes in before Halloween, but this is the fastest I'm binge watching a show. So we'll see. But I don't usually binge watch. I like to enjoy cliffhangers and stuff. This one, we start off with just gore. Just to be honest, it's gore. Just episode picks up where 2 left off, which is acid party, and obviously the bodies left behind don't look so great, not so hot. There's some references to people having vomited and stuff in there. Not a lot of great acting coming from some of these like extras. These like little like one-line characters feel like people who I wouldn't give more than one line to. I heard a couple people say things and I was like, I hope you know that you're just in here for that one line. Okay. Anyway, but eventually, Mark Hamill absolutely brings it in this episode. I got to give Mark Hamill props, and that doesn't mean necessarily that he lives or dies or whatever by the end of this episode. This is not like but it's just he's in a lot of this episode, and I loved his character, his attorney for the family character, where he kind of gets to start stepping in and he kind of starts handling some things because, you know, there's fallout from this. He's investigating, trying to figure some stuff out. So he's in the show a little bit more. And I'm really appreciating Mark Hamill's performance in this story a lot more because of that. I would also say that Kate Siegel gets a lot more screen time, which is good. Carla Gugino's performance is getting good. She gets a little bit more to do in this as well. And Kate's Midnight Mass co-star, Zach Gilford, actually even has a scene in here that was pretty strong. So, yeah, it's a better episode. And somebody had commented on my last video because the second episode I felt like I didn't know who they were enough. I think it was too early to do what they did because in the first 2 episodes, we hadn't really established who these people were enough. And I think I said that I didn't care, and they're like, well, you're not really supposed to care. You're supposed to care a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Like, people aren't just, it's not supposed to be this nihilistic world where you don't care where anybody lives or dies. You're supposed to kind of be invested in a character on some level, even if you don't like them. Even if they're a character you don't like, you're supposed to be invested. The fact that I didn't care meant I didn't care either way. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't care either way because I didn't know anything about them. So, you know, Perry became a throwaway character for me. I didn't get to know him well enough. Here, I will say that the Chosen for this episode gets a little bit more screen time, and based on also the fact that now this is the 3rd episode, we've had some little tidbits, but they do make sure to expand that character enough that by the end of the episode, when it's their time to obviously be the kill for the episode, you're kind of like, yes, please. Like, I hate to say that, but yes, please. They work overtime to make sure that you're just like, yes, this is a terrible person who requires immediate disposal. And I didn't feel that the last episode. I was like, I don't know, this kid just seems like a rich kid, and maybe I watched too much Gossip Girl, and I just see like these characters like everywhere. I don't know. I've just seen too many shows where there's just too many like rich kids who have too much money, and I don't know. I just think that God, it was just these were all horror TV shows where all of these kids were just killed off. I was never sitting there watching Gossip Girl and being like, wouldn't it be great if everybody just started being killed off one by one? You know, I didn't think that. I was just like, I guess I'll just be invested in vapid characters. That's what I have to do to get through the show. Let's do it. Here, it's becoming a little bit more clear who's making terrible choices and who's making the most terrible choices at any one given moment in time. So, and here, I also thought what was interesting too is that the character was given more of a warning. I didn't feel like Perry was given quite the warning. Perry was given sort of like a weird, sort of ominous, almost like, it's very like, sort of like, are we about to fuck? Like, what's going on here? Like, what is happening with this moment? And I don't think there was nearly the warning that was set up there like it could have been. So, yeah, I think that probably this episode, interestingly, takes a character that is, I would say the crowd would agree more if we were in a movie theater. This is not a character anybody would want to see survive the horror movie, and actually gives them an out. And they just choose not to take it because they're that terrible of a person. So, yeah. But then we go back, I'm sure that there's somebody here who's like, people don't just deserve to die, though. And it's like, yeah, but when you're in a horror film, it's like I'm living in a different world. We're living in a different world right now when when you're in a horror film. And those films are usually based off of, yeah, there are rules. I mean, you break the rules, you become somebody who deserves to die within that world. So, usually you have like the obvious bullies. You have the people who are pushing drugs, which technically this whole family is doing. So, there's just like sort of rules of horror films. Interestingly, the having sex thing seems to be kind of big for this family, but I don't know how much the sex thing has ever mattered to like married couples, and some of these people are married, so we'll see. But I don't know how the series is going to pan out. I don't know how many people are going to be alive by the end of the series. But right now, if I had to pick one to still be around at the end of the day, I'm going to pick Mark Hamill. He's not even an Usher. But I thought his performance in this episode was great. I'm like, dude, I want more from Mark Hamill. That's it. That's all I care about right now. I'm like, can Mark Hamill be in every episode as much as he was in this episode, please? It's funny because I saw The Machine a little while ago, also on Netflix, and he's in that. And even though that's not his movie, he was absolutely the thing that saved that movie for me. And now I'm sitting in the show, and I was like, who's playing that lawyer? And I was like, oh my God, it's Mark Hamill. Like, I didn't think I was going to be in a year of Mark Hamill, but I'm glad. I'm happy. I didn't know it was Mark Hamill. I looked it up. I was, oh my God, Mark Hamill. Cool. Look at that. Slaying the game. Proving he's not just Luke Skywalker. Like, so many people are just like, does he do anything else? Yeah. And very well, by the way. So, get all up in this. Enjoy his performance. I enjoyed the third episode a lot better than the second one. I think the third episode does a lot better job of expanding the characters in this episode than in previous episodes. It does a lot better job explaining why this character And also, I like the fact that it gave the character an out, like a clear out. Not sort of this weird, sort of like, you know, uh, almost like a riddle, which is what Barry got. Sort of like, I don't know what's gonna happen. Well, maybe if there was a little bit more, maybe if you were a little bit more direct, like you are in this one, I think maybe different choices could have been made. Either be direct or not. Don't flirt around with it, and then in the next scene suddenly you're like, you shouldn't be here. It's like, okay, well, I'm sorry, you're right, I shouldn't be. Thank you, I'll leave now. What would that scene have looked like? You're right. And then bam, character gets to live, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, this had more jump scares. It's still gory. And Flanagan is he's back to doing what he's good at, which is character building in horror films. He has some of the strongest characters out of any of his pieces, where you actually feel like you understand a backstory. There's so many horror pieces where you're like, who are you? What just happened? Do I know anything about these people? And Flanagan is really good at least building characters so that you actually can be committed to their existence within the course of the series or movie. And that's what I liked about this episode, is that it felt like it was back to where Mike Flanagan was shining. And I think it's the best episode so far. So I'm going to give Fall of the House of Usher, Season 1, Episode 3, an A-. I enjoyed this. This was good. Good job, Mike. We had a little bit of a rocky start. That second episode, I'm not a big fan of it. But this third episode, really well structured, and I feel like it's back to what people like about Mike Flanagan. So we'll see what the fourth episode has to bring. But until then, just stick here. Click like, click subscribe. Thanks for watching. And I'll see you guys on the other side.